I'm Chris Torre. 3 Calgary school teachers, all at different stages of their careers, share their experiences with the strike so far. This is the home stretch on CBC Radio 1 and CBC Listen in Calgary. The provincial teacher strike, the largest teacher walkout in the history of Alberta. The strike affects more than 730,000 students and roughly 51,000 teachers. 3 of those teachers, all from Calgary, are with me in studio to talk about how they're feeling about the strike and what the key issues are to them personally. Jason Isaacs and Janelle V are both high school teachers. Kyle Joseph is a brand new elementary school teacher. Hello to you all.
Good afternoon.
Hello, thanks for being here. Kyle, I'll start with you. What's it like not being at work?
Yeah, well, it's strange, especially as a first year teacher now, just rolling into the career, getting kind of established in that routine has been the big thing for me over the month now that I've been in, and it's definitely a bit of a disruption to be out of classrooms, but it's something that I maintain has to happen, so bittersweet.
I imagine it was like right when you're getting to the point that you were really bonding with the kids, it's like, well,
absolutely,
that's it for now.
And that's the tricky part, right? It's getting involved and forming those relationships, and now it's suspended, at least. I like to think of it as suspended, not over.
Sure. And what's this been like for you, Jason?
Very similar experience, to be honest. Though, I'm at the opposite end of my career from Kyle. I think it's a little surreal, for sure. As teachers, we do what we do because we're passionate about it. There's nowhere we'd rather be than working with our students. So it's very hard to be in a position where we know our students' needs aren't being met. But I try to remind ourselves that we're ultimately doing this to make things better for them.
Were you teaching during the last strike, Jason?
My career opened with the last teacher strike.
Okay.
So, hopefully we'll survive this one as well.
Sure. And Janelle, what's this been like for you?
I feel like I kind of have a loss of purpose right now, individually as a human being. Of course, we teach as a profession, but I think most teachers are so passionate about it that it becomes who you are. And I feel like I'm at a loss of direction. My husband is also a teacher as well, and we're kind of just wandering around the house, not doing much.
Oh, my.
Yeah.
So then, Janelle, could you tell us a bit about the key issues for you personally as a teacher?
Absolutely. And I feel like at the forefront of this issue, it's classroom complexity and class size caps. So over the 12 years that I've been teaching, my job has basically doubled, right? When I began in the province in 2014, moving from Montreal, my class sizes were 526. Last year, I had a class size of 44. And those needs that have always been present have been a little bit more compounded as numbers have risen as well, because students have experienced COVID. We have both parents working at home, right? And they need more and more help. And one person just isn't able to provide that for what students need, right? We have students coming in not at reading level, not at grade level, because they're not receiving that type of help they need in the lower levels as well, because there's no funding for it, right? And putting 44 kids in a class, to me, is unacceptable, right? And so as a teacher, you feel kind of helpless and hopeless in that, in the sense that you can't meet the needs of your students.
Yeah. And what are the issues top of mind for you, Kyle?
Very similar, I would say. Just a bit of my sort of experience teaching right now. I teach grade 6, and I've got 2 kids who are virtually illiterate. And so that becomes a big challenge for myself as a teacher, because not only am I trying to provide instruction and meaningful instruction to my entire class or my grade that I teach, I'm then also trying to provide reading instruction to those kids. And we've got one education assistant for over 66 kids. And that is something that, she works part-time and doesn't quite have the ability to reach those kids that really need it. And so for me, definitely funding is at the forefront of this issue. We need to have more support available for occupational therapists, for psychologists and psychiatrists, and for these people that can come in and give the students the support that they really need. And we unfortunately don't have the time in the day to do.
The wage hasn't come up yet. How much of that is a factor for you, Jason?
Well, I'm fortunate. I'm at toward the end of my career. I'm at the top of the grid when it comes to salaries based on education years experience. I think for me, I'm in a position where the wage piece isn't a big part of this for me, to be honest. If I was in the position that Kyle's in at the start of my career, I might have a different opinion, right? For me, it really does come back to the issues of class size and complexity. I think more importantly, to look at sustainable models for addressing those issues, right? A sustainable model for funding those things, right? You hear the news about offering, say, 3,000 teachers. At the end of the day, when we know that 43% of teachers leave the profession their first 5 years, that's a minuscule number compared to the needs we see. And it doesn't address future growth or future complexity. I think more than anything, what I would like to see is recognition that we need to come up with a model for a sustainable approach to ensuring that we have the resources in classrooms for kids going forward. That's the priority for me.
You don't feel you've heard any of that from the province?
I think the province doesn't understand that this isn't necessarily an ideological issue. This is a human issue, right? And these are kids. And it comes down to the issue of what our kids need to succeed, right? And teachers have accepted that we've had to do cuts and cuts and cuts. And I don't think the promises that are not written into the agreement, such as 3,000 teachers or 1,500 EAs, that was a promise. That wasn't written into the agreement. I don't know if we can function on promises anymore. I think we need sustainable and concentrated solutions. For example, the class size cap, right? No one is expecting that to happen immediately. It could happen gradually, right? 41 year, 38 the next, giving time to build schools, giving time for teachers to be trained, right? And other provinces have done it, and we can look at other provinces as a sustainable model, as Jason was saying, in order to implement some of those things that we need.
What are some of the ways you've seen the dynamic in the classroom change, Jason, over the years?
At the end of the day, Janelle said it really well, right? It's a human enterprise, and people have always been people. I think that we're seeing demographic changes in our society, and our classrooms reflect that reality. I think the biggest thing for me that I've seen change is the supports that we have in place. When I started my profession, I was saying to these two earlier, every department in a major high school had a full-time EA assigned to the department that would help to offload some of our clerical work so we could spend time with students. So I could have an EA who was inputting exam scores so that I could spend the time reviewing those exams with students and addressing their needs. Gradually over time, as we've lost many of those supports, the administrative tasks for teachers have gone up and up and up, and the time face-to-face with students and the opportunities for one-on-one contact have gone down.
In terms of the strike, this is day 3, I guess, being Wednesday. We know that teachers aren't being paid right now. I mean, what will it mean to the three of you if this drags on? Kyle, I guess I'll start with you there.
Yeah, obviously, as a first-year teacher, pay, while it is definitely important, like Jason had said, for me personally, it's about finding ways to sort of make up for that missed income. And at this point, it is, I've got a lot of supports at home that are able to kind of bolster me and get me through this time where I'm not being paid for teaching. And so my big concern is those teachers sort of in the middle of the careers that don't have that same sort of financial security and that ability to say, okay, I can either fall back on a parent or a family member or have the ability to dip into their savings accounts.
And Janelle, you mentioned both you and your partner are teachers. How are you going to get by? What's the plan?
Yes. So I'm very happy that Kyle has some supports to lean on, but I know that a lot of my friends are currently looking for other jobs, right? Ubering, looking at going back to retail, something temporary in order to supplement that income. But I think the point is that it's so pervasive. The issues in schools are so pervasive that teachers are willing to give up their salary in order to do this, right? A lot of my friends have kids at home, and that means maybe not feeding them as well as they usually can and provide for them as well as they usually can. But this is how important this issue is to us, right? It is the future of our society. A well-educated person tends to be happier and more productive, and the more educated they are, the better the jobs they have, the more money comes in from taxation later on. It's an investment in our future. And a temporary sacrifice for long-term gains in order to keep teachers in this profession, to keep teachers in this province, is absolutely necessary. And I would take it over and over again if that means that we can get what we need in order to survive in the classroom.
Really? Even though, I mean, in your household, I mean, your backs are really against the wall if both you and your partner aren't earning any money right now.
We will figure it out. Lines of credit, food banks, we will do what we have to do.
Wow.
I think what you see in Janelle's comment is the reality that for most teachers, this is a vocation. It's not an occupation. And the people we care most about are those students. And we're prepared to make sacrifices on behalf of those students. Yes, we'll all encounter financial challenges. Yes, most of us will look for something to supplement income on the side. But in the end, we need society to see that education's an investment. It's the most significant investment a government can make in economic growth. For a democratic society, it's the formation of a citizenry, right? This is the investment in the stability of our democracy. And if that's not worth making sacrifices for, then I question your morals.
Well, we'll continue to follow this story, of course, and I really appreciate the three of you sharing your experiences with us today. Thanks for this.
Thank you so much for
Chris.
having us.
Calgary school teachers Kyle Jason Isaacs, and Janelle V.